Hello everyone today, so we're going to go through all the cords that I've acquired throughout the years. This might shock a lot of viewers. I usually don't do this type of stuff, so we're going to go through it anyways, because I need to reorganize and I also need to film another video, so you guys have something to watch. So I bought this Insignia portable CD player a few days ago. Actually, I think I ordered it a week ago. It came, I took the CD player out. It was new in box, but for some reason they taped it and they put batteries. They opened it just to put batteries in it, just to see if it still worked. And it came with these headphones. I'm just gonna take the headphones out and maybe throw away the packaging, who knows. I got these AV cables. When I was a kid, these were like, this was the GE brand, I think this one is. These were like $16 to $24 at Walmart when I was a kid. I learned this as I got older. Don't throw anything away, because you never know when you're going to need it again. Here we are in 2025 and I'm still using these. And you'd be surprised at how many I actually have. I have so many backups of these regular RCA AV cables, you'd be surprised. I used to buy them off of Amazon because DirecTV was selling their entire stash when they discontinued these, when DirecTV stopped using these. And I bought probably 2 bags of them. So that's one there. Here's a cable here. You're going to be surprised how old this is. It's got the GE brand right there, as you can see right here in the middle. It's an extension cable. That's got to be pretty old. I'd say the 1990s. Yeah. Here's one of those Radio Shack splitters for your coax cable. I don't know why it flipped out of my hand for. My hand might not be big enough to hold it. It's one of those switchers. I've tried using this and I can't get a signal through it. I'm going to try to use it again. I'm going to take this to my father's house, I think, and try it, or maybe try it here. So, and I went through this phase in about 2020 when I started buying every single used coax cable I could get my hands on. As long as they were less than $1, I'd buy them. And you'll be surprised at how many I actually found. And then we've also got, if I can get it out of here, I've got this, just a random cable here. I think the problem with this one was the video cable was shot. And so the audio cable was still good, so I kept the audio cable in case I ever would need it again. Probably never used it again. I think that's the one I use for the sounds for the CD player for outside. Here's another one of those things that you would connect to a PlayStation 2 or something. Occasionally I still use these. Man, it's awful dry down here today. I'm parched for sure. Here's one of those old style PC connectors that they don't even make anymore. They make these, actually, wait, never mind, I take that back. They make these. I've seen them for sale at Menards, and Best Buy sells them yet. Matter of fact, they still make PCs that use these. They still have these. They're very rare and hard to come by, but they still make them. I've seen them on Dells. Like the 2016 to 2020 model Dells, I've seen these on there. I think they still make those, and I still think they make those connectors yet. I've actually got quite a few of these. Quite a few of these cables. I've collected throughout the years. I still have a PC that uses these, but it's really old. It's from like 2006. Something like that. Got a lot of old stuff that most of you are watching this video are probably like, oh, I remember those. So magically that one's been retied back up. I guess the twisty tie broke. Probably find that at the bottom in there. And back in the day when you used to have those mono VCRs, where they would only, I'll show you here on the back of this Magnavox, where they only had the red and the yellow. You did not have the white. That's what this is for. This probably predates the 90s. This cord right here, my father owned it. My grandfather used it. I think it's the late 80s cable, early 90s, might be 1990s. I know for a fact it predates the 2000s by like probably 11 years or something. This is really old. So we'll put that over here with these. And then we've got ourselves another coax cable. Now this one right here is a Radio Shack brand. I don't know what model it is. It doesn't, oh wait, here it is. Sometimes they do. This one right here is new enough to have the RadioShack.com written on it. It says solid core shielded cable with durable jacket. Okay, so that one right there might be valuable. I got this here with my antenna that I bought from Walmart. It was a paper thin one that the military supposedly uses. That's where I got this from. I bought this. This is probably Sierra, I'd say 2016, 2018, somewhere between there I bought this. So practically on the newer side of things. And once in a while, I'll go out and I'll buy stuff off of Facebook Marketplace, and sometimes they come with these. Sometimes they come with their own cables. Well, this one right here did. I think I got this off of Panasonic. And somebody bought this, I guess. I remember seeing these at Walmart like around 2010 to 2015. I remember seeing these in there. You could buy these at Walmart. I highly doubt they make anything like this anymore. At the time period, didn't think I wanted to keep this, but now I'm like, sure, I'll keep it. Only because it's a cable. Now, this is a brand new HDMI cable right here I bought for the Roku stick for my mother. But unfortunately, I ended up finding a much better one. But I ended up buying this one anyways. Never used it. Brand new. I bought this probably 2 years ago at Ace Hardware. They had it on a clearance section. Originally like $17, $18. I got it for like $3 or $4, if I remember correctly. I didn't pay that much, but it's a 2017 model one. So it's like 8 years old. And I know this with HDMI technology. Every 5 years in HDMI technology, they change. So this right here became outdated 3 years ago. So that's probably why they had it on the clearance section to get rid of it. So there's not really a category yet for HDMI, but I guess I'll just set it over here for right now. Then I've also got this really small one right here that came with a Roku stick. I think it's just a regular HDMI cable, probably 720p. I think they ship these with the Roku Express. They no longer make those anymore. I think it says premium. This is premium. It's hard to read this stuff. The camera won't focus on that little print, but it says premium high-speed HDMI cable with Ethernet. And it's got a brand. It's BAOYUANDA. Probably some 5 or 7. It's probably a 7 to 15 character no-name brand. that nobody really cares about. I don't even know why I still have that. I used to list those 50 cents. I used to sell those for 50 cents in my booth. The small little ones like that. This one right here is another one of these. I might put this right here in the trash pile to get rid of. Throw it out there near the door to get rid of it. This is the computer charger for the computer I still have. My computer's a Toshiba. You all know that. You've seen it in the video. Old computer charger. I'll put that over here, out of the way. And then we've got here. Got ourselves another one of these. Looks like it quietly didn't. Looks like the wrapping of it came undone. In case you're wondering what I used to wrap my cords with. So people say rubber bands are bad, so I use twisty ties. And then I use these rubber bands like these. You can see here they can move. They have a lot of movement in there. So I don't know why they suggest use twisty ties. Twisty tie, they pretty much confine to the one area. And I do notice that with rubber bands, they break apart a lot. Here's an old... this cable right here was made in Japan. It's hard to read it there, but it's kind of blended out. But you can kind of see it there on the red. It says it's made in Japan. This was an audio cable that I think my grandparents got in the late 80s. I think they got this in the 80s. I think this was sold originally with a Sony Betamax machine. I think that's where because my grandparents were an early adopter of Betamax. They bought the Betamax machine right when it came out in 1975. They bought one, 76, 75, and they didn't buy a VHS machine until much later, until like the 2000s. They held on to their Betamax stuff way past the prime date. I think they bought a second machine about the mid-80s. And they bought a third machine in the early 90s. And they continued using Betamax basically well throughout the 90s. And they ended up going to VHS. Sometime in the late 1990s, early 2000s, they switched to VHS. And they stayed with VHS for nearly almost a decade before they got DVDs. They bought one of those combo units. So, and I think that's where they got this cable. I think this was sold with a Betamax machine in the 80s. Because it says Japan on it. I'm not sure where this came from originally, but that's what it looks like. It could have been. I bought this right here for my CD player. I think I bought 2 of these. Because at one point or another, when I was probably in summer school, I had my portable like round CD player with me. And my friend also had his headphones, but only one of us could listen to it. My CD player just happens to have a line output and a CD jack. So I never needed to use this. I guess I got lucky. But unfortunately, as the CD player got older, you couldn't do that anymore. So I bought this and I had to use it. But unfortunately, these were not available until like the 2010s. You couldn't find them anywhere. Where I did a little bit later research and I found out they only sold these with the CD players when they were new. If you did not have the adapter, you didn't have your CD player. So you didn't originally buy it new. The early models, I guess, supposed to be sold these, but I later learned you could buy these separately in stores, which I've never seen until I bought this one from Menards. I bought this probably 6 or 7 years ago. I paid like $5 for this, which was a lot at the time period, which was a lot of money for something like this. So I'm just going to put this into the odd and end section over here for the CD player, I guess. We'll put that over there. Most people that are watching this video are going like, dude, you're missing out on something. I know. I don't know what I'm missing out on, but this is right here, this is a brand new one. I just bought this like last year for the amplifier because I wanted all new cables, and I got tired of switching them out from the DVD player to the tape deck. I got tired of doing it. So I just bought all new cables and I connected them all up, and I finally hooked up my CD changer, which of course I'm planning on getting rid of along with the tape deck. You know, you saw that Pioneer CT-W205R. I'm getting rid of that tape deck. I bought it to use it, and then I realized, then I hooked it up, and I was planning on getting so much use out of it. I never used it. It just sat there. I just didn't have time to use it. So I'm selling it. I'm getting rid of it. I just don't have time. You know, with all these, with me shipping out orders on Discogs and stuff, I just don't got time anymore. So we're moving on to the next cable here. If I can get it out of here. So this one right here, so my grandfather gave me his Magnavox VCR with a built-in digital tuner. And I used the VCR like crazy. And eventually I wore it out. So me and my brother tried to fix it. We ended up destroying it. Accidentally destroying a plastic piece that was already brittle. So we just took the whole thing apart and just put it in the recycling bin. He gave me a bunch of these coax cables like these. I've never seen these in my life. I swear to God, I've never seen anything like that in my life. I was wondering if those were like handmade or something. Here's another coax cable. Here's another example of rubber bands. This is the reason why I prefer not to use rubber bands. For this particular reason, because they break like that. Put that over there in the trash. Anyways, so here it is. So I wrapped it right back up. And anyways, I don't think I'm much of a hoarder anymore, because if you notice this, I don't really have that much. And anyway, so here's another one of these. Put that over there. And I always thought this was weird because when I got older, I think recently I've been seeing a lot of these. I don't even know what these are for. I've just been keeping them. I've got a Monster brand one here. I don't know what they use these for. I've got no idea. I used this one right here because this was for digital out. You know, for like your out tier amplifier. That's what this was for. That's what I bought this for, and that's what I used it for. And the only problem was the amplifier did not have the connector for this, so I ended up paying $18 for this cable for nothing. I've never used it. It's brand new. I never used it. This orange one here, very expensive, because this is like that really expensive branded one or whatever. It's got like 5.1 surround sound cable and stuff like that. It's like what do you call that? Rated so high. Put that over there in the not needed pile. Because I'm never going to use these. I'm never going to use those types of cables. This is the reason why I hate rubber bands. Is you notice this a lot of these with these rubber bands that breaks, they break. And then you end up having to retime back up. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next cable here. I've got this. This is a little bit more modern. What do you call that? Extension cable. This is the one I would use to run like a DVD player like down the stairs or something. Which I've done with this one before. There's no power outlet. And keep in mind, I also do DJing, you know, for like parties and stuff. I did one event at a nursing home and it didn't go so well because the elderlies, you know, like the old people, I don't know what you call them anymore. I was going to call them fossils, but I don't know if that's the correct terminology or not. But they're fossils, and I did one, and I came in there and I was expecting to put on one hell of a show. When I get in there, I start playing the music through the Bluetooth speaker because me bringing in a regular amplifier is not going to be applicable, because I have to take a taxi, because I'm not walking 4 or 5 miles holding an amplifier and holding a DVD player and holding, all the stuff I need. I'm not doing that. So I need to get a vehicle. I need to eventually get a vehicle. However, this one right here seems like this is a much older one. I'm not sure if it even still works. One of these days I got to figure out how to test these and hook them all up and see if they work. And so we're going to open up here into a new category. It got this Monster S video cable, and I went through this, I'd say about recently, I'd say 2020 to 2024. I went through this phase where I bought every single S video cable I came across, whether they were new in the package or not. I got this one from Ace Hardware. I think I paid $1 for it. They had it on clearance for originally $3. They were trying to sell it for. Lowered it down to just $1, and I bought it. So here it is. I'll put this. Move these over here. I'll put that on there. And then we've got miscellaneous cords here. So I used to have a PC that used to use this connector. My father used to. And so I just kept all the old pieces for it. And I tried using it with a mouse that I bought at a garage sale. It was a Sony mouse. And I hooked it up using this, and it didn't work. So I figured maybe the mouse was defective. I'm not that much of an expert on that type of stuff. I just figured, you just plug it in, it works. I later on found out you need software. So I don't know if this piece right here even works. It might not even work. So I'm gonna go through this bag and take it out and throw it away. If I can get the bag open. And put that over there in the trash. This right here is for a printer. Actually, no, it's for a printer, but it came with my record player. I have a Sony turntable, if you've seen it before. I think I've never shown it in a video. I got this right here, believe it or not, at a Kroger store. They actually sold these at one point. They actually sold these, what do you call that, nylon or cloth cables like these. They actually sold these. This bag right here I'm going to toss. I'm going to put that in the recycling bin. I don't need to have all these things laying around anymore. I'll put that over there for this. Along with this. There. That should be connected to the back of it. Here's another one of these. This is a metal braided one. I think it's gold. I think it might be gold plated. I'm not sure. I have a bunch of these ones that are like this style. There's two set of coax cables here. They're pretty short. I don't even know why they would be producing them that short unless they went to unless you hooked them behind and in sync with another VCR. I've got no idea. Honestly, I'm going to get rid of those. I'm never going to use those. Well, these right here go to the tape deck. These were when I bought that tape deck from that thrift store, and I think I paid like $50 for it. And I paid $15 for the tape deck about 5 years ago. In today's money, it'd be like $50, right? Right? You go to the grocery store, you buy a thing of Pop-Tarts. Used to be $1.99 like 6 years ago. Now it's like $3.38 or something. So I mean, it's gone up like more than 50%. almost went up. I think it went up like 45% or something. So the tape deck would be worth more money. Probably be worth like 30, like almost $30. So, you know what I'm trying to say. It must have went up some. So I'm gonna put these over there with it. I'm gonna put these with the tape deck. I'm gonna put these over there with the tape deck. I don't know. I gotta make a pile here. So I'll put those over. I'll just put those over there. Yep. Here's another cable here. Another GE brand. Probably $15 cable. I got this right here from one of the thrift stores. It's an older styled one, as you can tell. Apparently haven't seen this before. I bought this to use the coax cables and to use the stuff in it, but I found out later on it's pretty nice. Like, I forgot to show you. Here's another one of those. This is the component one. This is the one my father bought back in the 2000s. He actually bought this back in the 2000s. He bought this for his DVD player. And I thought this was interesting about this is it's really old. And put that over there as well with the other ones. And here's another one of these to get this out of the way. It's a smaller one, as you noticed. And here's another one of these. Another one of these coax. I've got plenty of those. Here's another one of those. Here's another coax cable. Here's two more small coax cables. I don't know. Oh, this is one of those aux cables. I'll put that over there with the CD player. Here's those jumpers. So we used to have Dish Network, and my father got rid of it because they kept upping it. And sometime around 2010, it was like $100 a month. And my parents decided, well, they needed to put a down payment on a new vehicle eventually, so they quit Dish Network in They canceled it in 2015 at the beginning of the year, so they could put the $1,200 into an account and they could save it over the course of the next 4 or 5 years. Unfortunately, my mother got in an accident in 2014. So that was their plan, was to cancel it in early 2015. So they canceled it early. And my mom got in an accident. Somebody hit her, and the guy that hit her had no insurance. So basically, my parents were out a vehicle. They were out like $3,000 or $4,000 they would have had to put into the vehicle to get it up to par. Here's another one of these things for probably a radio or something. So I was talking about, I think this is a GE brand one, but you can see it's brand new. I don't think I bought that one separately, but however, anyway, so that's basically what happened. So I got these here from DirecTV. Bought them off of I bought them off of Amazon. I paid, what was it, $13 for a cord, for 13 cords, so $1 a piece. Now they're like $30. And I bought them, I looked on there, I bought them back in 2021. Now they're like $30. Paid $18. I think I paid like $18.99 for like 13 cords. Now they're like I think they're like $38, $39. So you tell me, are they price gouging? They have to be at this point in time. Then we've got all kinds of other cables and other stuff. So like the crate's empty. But we got still more cable. We got more cables over there yet. So this one right here, this was the one my grandparents gave me when they gave me that VCR. So that goes over there. And I'm suddenly not feeling very well. I don't know why. I feel like I'm going to throw up. 2022. So this is a brand new one. I bought 7 of those, and I only needed 6, so I actually had an extra one. This is the cable right here I bought for that CD player, which of course I already have one, so I bought an extra one. Never know where you're gonna need it. Here's one of those cassette adapters that everybody bought, and everybody has. Don't know why I bought this, because my parents never had a vehicle with a cassette player in it. They always bought them with CD players. My parents bought their first vehicle together in 1998, and it was a they bought it used. It was a 1991 station wagon. It was a Mercury Sable. It actually had a CD player in it. There was no cassette player. It had CDs only. And because it was an aftermarket radio that was installed by the dealership, and the problem is the cassette player that was installed, that previously had been installed, they didn't remove it all the way. They just took the front door off and they just put a panel over the top. So my father took a screwdriver and a chisel and he chiseled it out. And so he bought one of these adapters because the cassette player didn't really work. And he bought one of these adapters, but this isn't the same one. And he put it in there and he hooked up, he had like one of those like small, like round ones from like the late 90s, and he put it in there. He used it like a mini CD player. And I don't think I'll ever use this. Probably be one of those things I'll just sell and get rid of. Probably won't be able to get what it's worth. Here's another one of those cables for like the mono VCR. They actually produce these, believe it or not. I've seen pictures on diagrams of old Sony VCRs on Amazon, and I've actually looked at the instruction booklets of them, and they actually show where they have a red lead coming out. You have a yellow and a white. And at the other end, you have a red, white, and yellow. It's to go out to your television, out to your stereo television. So it's still stereo. But the VCR is mono, which I thought was interesting. I've never seen one of those cords in person. Here's one of those El Cheapo ones. I think I got this with that Toshiba 620 I bought off of Amazon. I think this came with that. Probably get rid of that. This right here, I think this is 4 cords. There's 4 of them in there, I think. No, there's 2 of them. This is like a Megavox. I got the 2 Megavox DVD players I have. These are their cords. From the 2000s for sure. And here's another 2 here. They seem kind of cheap. I don't think they're worth keeping. I'm not going to keep those. Here's a extension cable here. I'll tell you the story on this in a minute, but I bought this from Sears, and they were closing, so I needed a coax. I needed a what do you call that? Extension cable that was black, that was waterproof, because at night you don't want to see it. And I used this for years outside for the Christmas lights, and so it was waterproof. You could run, I think you could run water over this for half an hour, and then it would be shot. And this was like one of those like types of like commercial grade cables. I paid like $8 for this. Originally it's like $30. This is like one of those like really highly expensive cables. And I also have another one too, a much longer one. These are really good. These are really good. This, I think that might even be Craftsman's brand. Sears brand. Made in America. Really good brand. Here's a microphone right here for the tape deck. I bought this originally to use to play online games with. Got this from Walmart. I think this is a off-name brand, Sony brand. Actually, I think this might be Sony brand. I used it maybe hundreds of times. Still works. Hardly have been used. Probably end up getting rid of that with the tape deck. And then we've got I bought this from a thrift store. I paid $1 for this. It's a brand new Philips high speed. I think it's only a 4 foot. It's only 4 feet, but it's a Philips brand HDMI cable. I don't know why I bought this. Oh, I know why, because it has the easy grips on the back of it. That's the only reason why I bought this, and it says it's lossless with stereo surround sound. So that's the only reason why I bought that. I've never seen a 4 foot HDMI cable for sale anywhere. Here's one of those. Here's a 6 foot RCA. So this RCA brand stuff is really good. You get it from Menards. Used to be able to get it from Menards. Now all the scalpers and all the people that are price gouging, they went to Menards. When these cables first came to the market, these RCA brand ones, when they first came to the market, like this packaging and this design, they came to the market, and Menards sold them like crazy. They were selling them kind of cheap. And so these scalpers went on there, and these people went on there, and they started going to Menards, and they started buying them, and they started reselling them on Amazon. This cable right here was like $6.99. You could probably find this exact same one on Amazon for like $30. It's ridiculous how expensive they are on Amazon. It's so expensive. They're just so expensive. I saw this one right here, for example, on Amazon for $24.99. I think I paid, what was it, like $11.99 for this? $12? They're selling them for like double the cost. So it's ridiculous. So you always see in those videos how I'm cleaning the video head. I always got this paper. I've got so many bags of this that I've made that I've lost. It's unbelievable. Now I'm finally finding them, which is hilarious. Which is hilarious because I'm finally finding them. Here's another one of those Philips brand. This video cable. Where do we put those S video cables at? Oh, there they are. And this is going to be interesting because this box is really smashed up. M61070. This is a Magnabox brand. S-Video and audio cable. I didn't even know they made these like this. When I bought this, I didn't even know these existed. I bought this and it was in much better shape when I bought this. I don't know why the packaging got to be in such bad shape for. It just basically sits there. Never been used, brand new in package. I think this is from 2006, 2007, I think. I think they started making these and started selling these in 07 because I remember 08, around 09, I saw a ton of these being sold. And people would buy a Toshiba DVR 670 or 620, and they would buy this cable to hook it up to their old TV. That's why people bought these. Very rare to find these days, especially new in package. I think that's the only one I've ever seen. I didn't even know they still made those. And I found this at a Goodwill. I paid $1 for this. I don't know why these RCA packages last so long, but they're just much better condition. They always seem to be. I think I know what it is. I'm getting my stomach can't handle coffee anymore. I'm only 25 years old and my stomach can't handle coffee. You could say this is brand new from the year 2008. And I'll flip this one over and show it to you. It's manufactured by, I think, pretty much the same company's been making this RCA product for the past like 20 something years almost. I would hate to open this and find out it doesn't work, because I paid a pretty penny for this. I paid $2 for this. Pretty much. It's a 12-footer, so you cannot find new RCA coax cables anymore that come in a package like this. So this is definitely for sure vintage. Vintage for sure. Probably worth, I don't know, maybe $2-3. And I'll show you this here, how many of these I actually have out of these. So you can buy these on Amazon for $24 a piece. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's what, 24 times 6? So 96. So 2, let me count again. So 2, 4, so that'd be $96. Just the 4 of these would be $96 on Amazon right now. And the bottom 2 not even included. So you're well over $100 there, almost. They probably won't give you free shipping, so you're probably looking at what? $6.99, $10 for shipping for each one. So there you go. So you're probably well over 100 just in 4 of them. It's so crazy how expensive things have become. We're not even into the good part yet. So here's the Radio Shack coax. No, this is the Radio Shack S video cable. I bought this from, I bought this off of Amazon. I think I paid $6 for this entirely. Probably 6 or 7 years ago. Here's another one that I got here. It's just a GE brand one that I ordered. I think I paid $1 for this, I think. Here, I thought this was interesting. A lot of people see a lot of these RCA stuff. They're starting to see. I know a lot of people are starting to see this stuff at the thrift stores. A lot of these RCA brand stuff. I've seen a lot of it in the past few years. The stuff is actually pretty good quality. I mean, I used these at my father's house. I set one up finally. This is the last one I have, and I noticed that they don't make these anymore. So these are going to be very expensive. Very expensive on the high-end market, probably. It's pretty much high-end stuff. And here's the remote control. I see that they still make these, which is nice. These remote controls I get from Menards for like $6.99. Ace Hardware has them for $12 each. It makes it a lot better. Makes it a lot easier. Start putting this stuff back in here. I like to put the coax cables down at the bottom. Well, I'm actually not going to do that because I'm going to test these. I'm going to hook up a tuner and an antenna, and I'm going to test every single one of them. As always, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Bye. Super Satin Productions.